Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Harika. So in this video, we are going to see how to get all the queue items that are there in a particular folder. So in previous video, we have seen how to create a queue item into a particular folder. So now I'm going to show how you will get all the queue items. Okay, so before to that, I also wanted to explain one more scenario. So as we are doing everything through Postman and also the orchestrator calls that we are using, for everything we are using the barrier token as authorization, I mean for the mode of authorization, right? So let's say at any point of time, if you see that your API call which worked properly fine earlier and which was showing this error, you are not authenticated after you run it after 2 days or something of that kind one day, then in that case I would suggest you go to your request URL where you are doing the authorization, okay, and try to run that particular URL. So you will get the access token, right? So just copy that particular access token and try to paste it over here under authorization, okay, and then click on the send. Then you could see that the particular request will be successful, because as I already said you that the expiry, it will the bearer token will get expired after a certain period of time, so you have to keep on refreshing it. So only then the particular token will be active and you will get the correct response for that particular request that you're doing to the orchestrator. Okay, so that's one thing. So and also we have seen how to create a queue item in the previous video. So now let me go to the connector studio, so connector guide. So this one we have seen in the previous video how to add the queue item, and now we are going to see how to get the queue item by ID. So if you remember in the previous video's response, we are getting a particular, this is a request. So where is the response? This is the one. So if you just observe queue definition ID, I have said you to store this particular ID, right? So this particular ID I am going to use in order to get the queue item with respect to ID. So let me show you how we can do that. So for that, I'm going to copy this particular request. Just copy this, and we know, just go to postman and copy that particular URL here. So you just have to replace it with your tenant URL. So I'm gonna copy it with my tenant URL. So once that's done, we have given the particular tenant URL, and which is corresponding to getting the queue items, right? And what's the next thing? We have to provide in the authorization. What is the authorization that we were choosing? Barrier token just given, and this will be populated because we are in the same collection. So once that's done, we have to provide the headers, XPath organization unit ID. So go to headers and provide in the value here. So what is the value that you have to provide here? That's the question. Okay, so for that, let me go over here. So if you see, it is folder / organization unit ID. So previously we were just giving only the folder ID, right? Here we have to provide the folder name and the organization unit ID. So how we can do that? Let's go to your orchestrator. So if you see, my queue item is there in the default folder, that where I wanted to get the all items from, right? So from the default folder I wanted to get the queue items. Okay, so just give in default. And if you're not sure about the type of the folder or the exact folder name, we know how to get it from, right? We have a request for getting all the folders. So let me show you that. So this is the particular request which we have seen in the previous video. So to get all the folders, we were getting all the folders. So this is the name of that particular folder. So you should provide this name. So once after you provide that name, what is it? The next one is organization unit ID. Organization unit ID. So for this organization unit ID, you have to pick it from the ID that we have got from the earlier request. So what's the earlier request? Queue definition ID 506274. Just copy this particular one. And if you see in the previous video, I have copied and pasted in my local for further use, right? So just copy this particular ID and paste it over here. Okay, so this part is done. After that, what is the other inputs that we have to provide? So this is it, and we can just these both are the mandatory inputs, and after that this is the response that we will get. So let's try to send the request. So if you see here, the response code is 200 and okay, that means it's a successful response. And we are seeing that the count is 4. That means this particular queue ID has 4 items in this particular queue. So let's go over to the orchestrator and do a cross check. So view transactions. So if you see, there are 4 items that are present there in the queue, right? So this is how we can cross check. And also we can see everything related to that particular queue, like what is the reference, what is the due date, what are the specific content details like age, status and everything, right? So these are the details related to the queue, right? So this is how we can actually get all the items from a particular queue in a particular folder. Okay, so I think this video is useful for you, and in the next video I'm going to talk about assets. So in the assets also we have multiple things. Meanwhile, you can also just give it a try, and if you have any questions, do let me know in the comment section. So in the assets I will be talking about how we can create an asset, how we can get all assets, and how we can edit the asset. So all these are the different things I'm going to talk about in the next video. So to not miss any of the videos, do subscribe to my channel, and also that gives me a lot of motivation to come up with more interesting content. And also if you find this video useful, do hit the like button, and also let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.